Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're looking at something pretty huge, actually. How AI is just fundamentally reshaping marketing and advertising.
Yeah, we're digging into a really interesting conversation here, based on an article featuring MasterCard's Raja Manar and WPP's CTO, Stefan Platorius. It's called Quantum Marketing, How AI is Transforming Advertising.
Right. And look, we know things are moving fast. Technology, AI, it can feel like a lot.
Totally. So our goal here is to kind of cut through the noise. We want to pull out the key stuff from this discussion, make it clear, make it relevant for you.
Exactly. What's the core insight you need to understand this shift? They talk about this idea, this is a central argument, really, that traditional marketing, the way things have been done for ages, is just not cutting it anymore. It needs they call it a quantum leap.
A quantum leap, and it makes sense when you think about it. So let's unpack why the old ways are struggling.
Okay, yeah. What are the big pressures?
Well, first off, just the sheer number of places people are now. It's not just TV and print anymore, right?
Oh, definitely not.
You've got the web, countless apps on your phone, social media feeds, streaming services. It's incredibly fragmented.
So trying to get one message out everywhere, it's like shouting into the wind.
Pretty much, or shouting into a million different rooms at once. It's just not efficient, and that old one-size-fits-all approach, it really falls flat.
Okay, so channel overload is one thing. What else?
Then there's us, our attention spans. The article mentions they're down to, under 8 seconds on average?
Under 8 seconds, wow.
Yeah, so that tiny little window is all you have to grab someone. Forget long, drawn-out ads. You need impact, like now.
Which traditional methods weren't really built for.
Not at all. And it's not just reaching people, it's also the behind-the-scenes stuff.
The internal processes.
Exactly. Even though the output is digital, a lot of the workflows, they can still be really manual. Think about making different ad versions or setting up focus groups.
Right. Focus groups take ages.
Weeks, sometimes months, and a lot of resources. It makes it hard to be quick to adapt to what's happening in the market right now.
Okay, so you got this messy media world, people scrolling past in seconds, and slow internal gears grinding away. I could see why they call for a quantum leap.
Yeah, it paints a picture, doesn't it? And that leap, according to Rajamanar and Platorius, is basically AI.
Artificial intelligence.
Yep. Platorius talks specifically about what WPP is doing with their AI platform. He describes it as this marketing operating system.
An operating system for marketing.
Okay, and the core idea is these modular AI brains, like specialized AI units.
The AI brains. Tell me more about that. That sounds interesting.
It is. So imagine you have different AIs tackling different jobs. One key one is the brand brain.
Brand brain. Got it.
This AI gets trained, like deeply trained on a specific client's brand. It learns the tone of voice, the visual style, the brand values, even past campaign data.
So it really knows the brand.
Exactly. And the point is, it can then generate new stuff, ad copy, social posts, visuals that feels perfectly on brand automatically.
Okay, that could be huge for big companies trying to stay consistent everywhere.
Massive.
Yeah.
Especially globally. Keeping that consistent feel across dozens of markets is a nightmare manually. This AI is designed to nail that.
Okay, so that's the brand brain. What other modules are there?
Then they have something called persona plus synthetic focus groups.
Synthetic focus groups.
Yeah. So the AI creates these really detailed profiles, these personas of different customer types based on real data.
Okay, it's like simulated customers.
Right. But the cool part is the synthetic focus group. Instead of waiting weeks to get real people in a room,
You just ask the AI personas.
you test your ideas against these AI personas instantly, and you get feedback based on all the real marketing data the system knows.
Whoa, so you could test like a dozen campaign ideas in an afternoon instead of waiting months.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah.
It drastically speeds up that early testing and iteration phase, cuts down waste.
That's a game changer. Any other brains?
The third one they mention is the performance brain.
Performance brain. That's important.
It is. This AI basically predicts how well different bits of content ads, taglines, website designs are likely to do.
Predict success. How?
By analyzing patterns in past data, it estimates things like brand lift, like boosting awareness or actual sales impact. It even gives performance scores.
So it tells you, don't bother launching that ad. It's probably going to bomb.
Essentially, yeah. It helps avoid putting resources behind stuff that's likely to underperform. It's about optimizing before you even go live.
So generate on-brand content with the brand brain. Test it instantly with synthetic focus groups, and predicted success with the performance brain.
You got it. And the scale is just nuts. The article mentions generating and checking something like 13,000 ad versions in minutes.
13,000.
In minutes.
Yep. Think about how long that would take normally. Months, years maybe, millions of dollars.
That really is a quantum leap in speed and efficiency. Okay, but this brings up the big question. Creativity.
Yeah. Can AI actually be creative?
Right.
Or is it just churning out variations?
That's exactly what Rajamanar asks Platorius, and Platorius makes this really interesting distinction. He talks about commercial creativity versus, let's say, true human innovation.
Commercial creativity, meaning?
Meaning creativity focused on hitting specific goals, performing well, driving results, getting the message across effectively within the brand's rules.
Okay.
AI, he argues, is getting incredibly good at that, executing on brand stuff consistently at scale, which for big global brands is super valuable.
But not necessarily coming up with the next big, completely new idea.
That's the idea, the spark, the really original thinking, the aha moment. That seems to still be firmly in the human court, for now anyway.
So AI is more like a super-powered assistant for the execution part.
An enormously useful tool, I think is the phrase used. It takes the human idea and helps create tailored, compelling versions of it, especially when you need that strict brand consistency. It amplifies, it doesn't replace the core spark.
Amplifies, not replaces. Okay, that's a helpful way to think about it.
Yeah.
But it still leads to the other big question. Jobs.
Ah, yes. The will AI take my job question.
Exactly. If AI is doing all this generating and predicting, what happens to the marketers?
Well, the perspective in the article is actually pretty positive, or at least framed positively. The idea isn't mass elimination, it's about transformation.
Transforming roles, how?
By automating the repetitive stuff. The drudgery, maybe, like churning out hundreds of slightly different ad versions or doing basic data polls.
Okay, freeing people up.
That's the goal, freeing up human marketers to focus on the higher level things. Strategy, deeper customer insights, that initial creative concept we just talked about. More analysis, less grunt work.
So you spend less time tweaking ad copy variations and more time thinking about the overall campaign direction or understanding the audience better.
Precisely. It's about augmenting human ability, making people more effective, maybe even making the job more fulfilling rather than just replacing them. Less dystopian, more symbiotic, hopefully.
Okay, that makes sense. So if this is the direction things are heading, what's the advice for people listening? Marketers, business owners, anyone interested?
The advice from Platorius is pretty blunt, actually. He says, don't pontificate, don't wait. Start doing things right now.
Just jump in.
Basically, yeah. Stop just talking about AI and actually start experimenting with it. He stresses it needs to happen across the board, from the top leadership down to people just starting out.
Learn by doing, essentially.
Exactly. You only really understand what these tools can do and what their limits are by actually trying to use them in your specific situation.
Right. You can't just read the manual. Okay. They also talked about visuals, didn't they? How AI impacts images and video.
They did, and it's pretty fascinating, too. A big focus there is also on, you guessed it, brand consistency.
Making sure the pictures match the brand vibe.
Totally. They talk about using hybrid visuals, so maybe you have a super realistic 3D model of your product. And then AI generates the background environment around it, ensuring it perfectly matches the brand's aesthetic, the campaign mood, whatever you need.
So you get perfect product shots in perfectly tailored settings generated on demand.
That's the potential, yeah. Consistency and visual perfection. And they also mention matrix-based generation for visuals.
Matrix-based, like testing lots of visual options.
Exactly. Rapidly creating and testing thousands of visual variations, different backgrounds, colors, layouts to see what resonates best, optimized by AI.
Wow. So it's touching every part, the words, the strategy, the testing, and the actual look and feel.
It really seems to be aiming for a holistic transformation of the marketing process, making it faster, smarter, more personalized, and consistently on brand.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. Key takeaways from this deep dive. Traditional marketing is struggling, right? Too many channels, not enough attention.
Yep, hitting a wall with complexity and speed.
AI steps in as this, well, quantum leap solution, offering tools like the brand brain, synthetic focus groups, performance brain,
to automate, personalize, predict, and basically operate at a scale and speed that was impossible before.
And creativity. It's not about replacing humans, but augmenting them. AI handles the scaled execution within brand rules.
While humans hopefully focus on the bigger picture, the strategy, the truly novel ideas, jobs transform. They don't just disappear.
And the main advice is practical. Don't wait. Start experimenting. Get your hands dirty with AI now.
That pretty much nails it. It's a fundamental shift, this evolution driven by AI hitting the mainstream of marketing operations.
Absolutely. So here's a final thought to leave you with, something building on this, but maybe not explicitly in the source. If AI can generate and test marketing content at this incredible new scale, tailoring things perhaps to smaller and smaller groups, even individuals,
Sure.
what new ethical questions pop up?
Yeah.
What about the potential for manipulation or just unintended consequences we haven't even thought of yet as advertising gets this powerful and this personalized?
That's a heavy question. Definitely something to keep in mind as this technology continues to evolve at, well, quantum speed.
Indeed. Lots to think about. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.